Hey guys, so today was pointless. It was basically one of those final three episodes where they're sitting there like, oh my God, do you remember when? And then they flash back, and sometimes it's kind of interesting, but for the most part, it's just like a cheesy filler episode. It's like, it's like when people do their final speech, like it's never going to change anything. I don't know that it ever has. It's really just a legality. Like we just have to do it. And that's like this episode was that.
And what confuses me is that we still have 3 episodes left and we're doing this episode. So
and then one of them is another 2-hour for sure, right? So I'm like, how are you guys gonna do that?
I'm assuming we're gonna see the finale has to be longer than, I think it'll probably be like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't said, but
yeah.
Today's episode, we didn't even see the HOH or the veto.
Nothing.
Which we will be spoiling later. So if you don't want to know, don't
click out the video now because we're about to start spoiling you with who's the HOH if you haven't already heard, and who won veto.
Yeah. So right now, Todrick won HOH. No clue what the competition was. Apparently it was something Todrick's good at, maybe a dancing competition. I don't know.
No, I feel like I think I heard someone say something like they think it was one of those like memory ones, like
they like play messages throughout the night and then you have to recall, or was it like a?
No, I thought okay maybe, but I thought it was I thought when someone said that, I think it was the Mad Rose channel. I was watching her recap and I think she's the one that said that, like, but I think she made, to me, when I heard her say that, I was thinking of like not this comp but that type of comp when it's like the superhero one, we have to look at something to put it in order, but they've already kind of like that, but this is a HOH, so it's different. So I don't know, I thought it was something more like that, like a memory one.
See, I'm assuming most likely this next episode Sunday will be showing Todrick's HOH and the veto, possibly veto ceremony, and then it's going to be eviction, and then the second eviction following Monday. Or like Monday's episode is going to be the double eviction, so it'll show both evictions,
and then we'll wait till
the
Wednesday.
Finale will be Wednesday.
Yeah, I think you're right. I feel like that's a way they could break it up. That kind of just seems like it would make sense.
Because otherwise, I don't know how they're gonna.
How are you gonna?
Finale's not going to be split across
more than 2 days or something like that. No.
So so Todrick won HOH and he ended up nominating Lamar and Todd, which wasn't really a huge shock. I think they were planning on targeting Todd, and then if Todd or Lamar won veto, throw up Cynthia,
Yeah, but she's without Carson or anybody else that was in her corner at any point, like, no offense, like, I mean, I don't really care, but like, she's kind of like, she's not a threat in their eyes, at least. So they're just like, Todd's the only other one besides them in that house that's won anything. So if you're gonna think of someone as, oh well, you're a threat, I guess he would come next. And then maybe just because out of pettiness, Lamar next, just because Lamar had made a comment about wanting to get Misha out. And then I don't know if Todrick's heard that he wanted to go after both of them.
Well, Cynthia's just kind of oblivious right now. And I think it did them, like, they were very lucky that they didn't win the HOH and Todd did, because that made Carson and Cynthia believe them even more, because they weren't the ones that were putting them up.
God, so annoying.
And then I think the only circumstance that I was kind of hopeful, wishful thinking for, somehow Cynthia pulls out a veto win, pulls down Todd or Lamar, and then Misha has to go up and they can vote out Misha.
Or it would at least maybe come down to a tie, and then Todrick would break it and keep her, but it would just be more,
add some extra like tension.
It just would have been interesting. I personally said I wish that Todrick just straight up flipped on her and just was like, I'm gonna go full out villain. I'm gonna be 100% villain, because then in some aspects, like, I could almost respect you, right? Because I know that you're just pure evil, but you did you were strategic about, like you were very cutthroat and strategic, like down to the fucking core. And then to me, I can be like, I don't like it, it's not the game I prefer, but like you did something. I could give you more kudos. I would be like, okay, you really are a villain, instead of just like an evil bully that picked your little sidekick, but you had to be mean to everybody else. Like, that's not as much of a villain, that's just a bully.
Yeah. I think there's no redeeming Todrick's game, especially the only interesting part of tonight's episode. We'll get to the veto winner and whatnot in just a minute, but I want to talk about they talked about the fight Todrick and Chris Kirkpatrick had in the sauna.
Yeah, that we heard, but never really got to see, and I've only seen like
the beginning parts.
So they actually, this is like the first time they've truly shown like the nasty side of Todrick on the show, because they've given him a really nice edit. So it was good to actually see, because Chris Kirkpatrick has talked about it in his exit interviews.
That's why I think they included it in the first place, because otherwise I don't think they would have.
No. For whatever reason, they like, him
bringing up that comment and that making so much traction online of like Todrick called out Chris Kirkpatrick's like son. It was a lot more nasty than I even thought it was. Even just hearing that, I thought it was just something like, oh, well, your son wouldn't be proud of you.
Yeah,
it was like a full on, like, he literally got up and said straight to his face, like, I don't like you, Chris. And I don't think that your son would really be proud of a dad that is like, you know, doing this to me. And like, it was just such a like weird thing of like Todrick being like, I don't want you to paint me like I'm like this villain, or like that I'm like whatever. I'm like, dude, have you been watching the season? Like, unfortunately,
nobody has to paint you. You've painted yourself. Like, you've been so obvious. He's talked shit about his own mother online.
He literally even said, like, and I'm just gonna be, he said, I'm just gonna be straight up with you, Chris. I have not been kind in that DR. Him admitting that to his face, imagine what he was saying behind his back. Like, it's just,
I mean, we've seen a lot of it.
We saw ridiculous. And like, even after he got evicted, he was talking shit with Misha.
Oh, it's so predictable though. It's literally just like, I don't know. It just like is the worst parts of what Big Brother can be with some people. Like, we've had seasons with really bad bullying. We've had the racist seasons. We've had
physical violence seasons.
We've had, you know, and then we've had bullying. Like, this is like the epitome of a season with a bully in it.
And it's different this season because of it just being solely him. And really, because as much as Misha, I'm not really like a fan of, I would consider her to be more in line with like the average, like kind of villain.
Yeah.
Like just kind of casually
more of like a Vanessa.
Yeah. Or like an Amanda, but like not as extreme.
Yeah. Like just more like you can still tell they're kind of human, and that like they're truly looking at it as a game. And I feel like, as much as Todrick says he's like a fan of Big Brother and whatever, and it seems to be true. He hung out with the last cast. Like, he's at least known about it for the past, you know, year. But like, he's not playing it like it's a game. He's playing it like it's like real life, personal ass shit. Like, not just a game, but like he takes it like real life. Like, you don't need to take it real life. And he's doing it and being fucked up to people that he had like personal relationships before he got in this house. Like, I'm sorry, but if I was Carson, maybe he's a better person than me, but like, I don't think I could ever be your friend again. Because I know it was a game, but you took it farther than the game over and over again to my face. And you made like the whole BB world hate me. And you talk shit about me. And all you wanted was me out the whole time. You never considered, what if two gay men work together? That's never really happened.
Literally, I think it was like the first or second episode. He was like,
it was like the
okay,
first.
but I know that we can only be like, there can only be like one gay in like the house, even if it was a joke. I'm like, what in the world kind of like comment is that to say about your friend? This isn't just some random person.
Exactly. And it's like, it's just, it's weird because it's like, he's gay, right? And he wants to be like representing his community. But when he makes comments like that, it makes it seem like he's almost like not pro-gay. Like he's just like a typical like he's just like a typical like straight guy that plays Big Brother.
The thing that
If
baffles me
Misha
is
was a
that he's
dude,
been
if
saying stuff
Misha
like
was a dude,
this. He's been saying stuff like this on top of the comments of like, "Ugh, I think Lamar and Todd, like, they've just been making like homophobic remarks and like whatever." And but
he's
then like Carson had no issue. So I'm like, maybe it's not the fact that you're gay. Maybe it's the fact that they don't like you
like,
personally.
you're just an asshole. It's not because you're gay, it's because you're an asshole. Well, that's another thing. It's like, are you a villain or are you just an asshole? He'd be a villain if he cut Misha right now.
Yeah, right now he's just like kind of annoying.
And it's also like, I feel like he says that because he's playing the victim, and narcissists have to make themselves the victim in their own minds, but they also need to convince people around them, because then that enables them to keep doing their bad behavior, because you were fucked up to me, so I'm gonna get you, and it's okay that I did this. When it's like, it'll be something like someone like jokes around and accidentally, it's like pretending to trip you, but you actually fall. So then you're like, I'm gonna go get a baseball bat and like bash their head in. But you tripped me. Like it's this very weird thing where they have to offer like the reality to make it okay, even though it still doesn't make it okay, but in their mind that's a justification. So it's like, it's very weird, because I feel like he did the same thing in the Chris Kirkpatrick conversation. Like, it was like, you're making me out to be a bad person. No, I'm speaking facts on what you do. If that makes you think I'm making you out to be a bad person, maybe you're just making yourself out to be a bad person.
And here's the thing, people have been turned on in the game, and in this situation it wasn't even like Chris Kirkpatrick was like, he was considering like going back on like his word with Misha and Todrick, but at the same time, like, it's not like Misha and Todrick were completely like clean with that either.
Mm-mm.
And it's just the fact that like Chris Kirkpatrick never said anything personal, like even pretty much behind his back. They were mentioning like, it was mainly talk about Misha.
Mm-hmm.
And then Todrick has to like, he sees Chris Kirkpatrick apologizing to him, and he's like just taking it to like personal digs and attacks. And it's different when it's the celebrities versus just normal people.
Yeah, like the normal,
like it just seems so like out of character.
Yeah,
and
they're
really kind of annoying.
Oh, they're in there longer. There's more people, and then they also almost always are people that have never been in an environment where they're going to be on camera like this. That adds to stuff. And then they also don't know each other like that, and they're stuck together. Whereas most of those celebrities, I mean, at least know of each other, think they have an idea of who this person is. We've all been on TV. We've all been in the public eye. And then some of them like did have actual relationships, and it's shorter. Like, it's totally fucking different. You're never on slop, because that'll turn you into a whole different person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Misha have been on slop. She's trying to drop 17 pounds, bitch. Stop eating the keto bars and eat some slop.
I don't think I've ever seen someone not lose weight when they're on slop in the house. Like, it's always like a scary amount too.
Yeah. You want to know why? I think it's because even if you eat it, it's not a lot. It's enough
just enough to keep you alive, pretty much.
Right. But then people are so disgusted with it, or just get so over it.
They don't eat it.
They just choose not to eat at all. So then they're really like, you're basically anorexic. You're starving.
Yeah, they'll eat it like enough, like maybe once a day, just to have something in their like belly, or like drinking water.
Yeah, but they can't stand it, so they just would rather just not even.
Yeah.
I've been like, when I've like done like a juice cleanse, and it was like one day where it was just like, I really needed, like, I should drink this. Like, it's not even a lot of calories. It's something. It's flavor besides water. But I was just like so over I don't like juice. Honestly, I almost never even drink juice. I really just drink water. And like, I was just like, I just like can't even do this. So then it was like, I didn't even do the juice cleanse properly because I like technically didn't even eat like 2 of the juices, which defeats the detoxing purpose where you're putting in certain vitamins, where you're, removing, like, it's totally like, I probably would barely eat the slop unless you have someone in there who was it that was like making all those different versions of slop? Like, they're making like slop pancakes and like,
That was season 7 where it was like a competition.
oh,
They had made like slop waffles, slop like fettuccine, slop cookies, like like apple, like an apple like and slop something.
yeah, I don't know, but like those things, like, I was like, when they were starting to like use the condiments that they could to like put something together that at least could like look like it's something other than slop, so at least like mentally you could like trick yourself, like, then I might be able to do it. But if I'm just in there and it's just the basic ass shit that you have to make yourself, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Getting to the veto and the veto competition, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Because that's really all that we know at the moment.
Yeah, there's really going on. It was just one of those filler episodes, literally.
Todd ended up winning the veto, which...
Do we know what kind of competition it was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. So he's always...
Everyone seemed a little irritated, specifically Misha. I don't know why, but I'm sure it has to do with like the "you talk too much" comment.
Yeah, that, but also she wanted him out next. So if he takes himself off that, I mean, yeah, I'm still safe and I can still get out somebody else I want to get out, but like, that's what I wanted to do, and you effed that up for me.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, that's the game.
Yeah, so he'll pull himself off, hopefully. I don't know. Sometimes it's a little wishy-washy with these celebrities.
I mean, what was it? What was the one recently?
Lamar said, like something about like, I didn't know that they were filming us like all the time.
And they're like, yeah, like 24/7.
It was the same thing. James Ryan said like, oh, Maggie wasn't aware that they were filming inside the HOH room. So she was talking like a lot of like
shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny, and I wouldn't. I
like, they don't record in the HOH room, right, for feeds? And they're like, what do you mean? Yeah, they do.
She's like,
she's like, gotta go
I
delete some footage.
I know. She's like, I cheated on my husband, like with Eric in the house, like something crazy she was saying. She thought she was happy. We did it. No, obviously not. But
and then the last thing was just Carson's exit interview, which I don't know really how to feel about it. I'm gonna wait and see.
I only saw the one. I want to
wait and see more statements, see if he watches some of the episodes or some of the feeds, find out more about what was said, because right now he hasn't like watched anything because it's been fresh.
But I also feel like he has gotten an idea through what people have told him, anything
and what people have been asking too.
Yeah, that he's like, you can tell like he's classy, he's clearly not a super confrontational person and very like even keel, but I mean, he's a Scorpio, so there's some revenge up in that body, trust me. They just come when you don't know. When you don't know, they're gonna get you. But also maybe just because he's more mature too. But like, I feel like I could tell, even based on the fact that he hasn't seen much yet, but based on just a little bit of exit interviews and like opening up his phone or whatever, that he's like getting a little mad.
He said in the interview, like, he's like, I'm not necessarily like betrayed, but I am mad if they did like dupe me, because it went so far, and like I like then was treating Shayna a certain way because of what I was under the impression of. Mm-hmm. And now when I find out that that's not true, that's all completely unwarranted. That makes me look like a bad person.
Yeah. You guys also just looked,
So
and you were like making the whole world frustrated and mad.
yeah. So as much as I think he'll own up to it, I don't think that, I mean, he admitted him and Cynthia are not Big Brother connoisseurs. He said that they didn't really know what they were doing, which we
Clearly,
could tell. Not to be rude, but
I think you want to know how I knew he was kind of like mad too, was when they said like, would you play, like what surprised you the most about the game? And he said how nasty some of the people could get. And you know who he's talking about.
yeah, who else is he talking about in the game? It's not Chris Kirkpatrick, it's not Mariah.
It's not Teddy, it's not,
and it's not Cynthia, because he's cool with Cynthia. So
it's not Cynthia. If anything, he'd be talking about Todrick, and he thinks Misha's an angel till he finds out. So not
Todd
Misha.
and Todrick, the
That's
Todds.
it. So that's it, because nobody else was doing anything or saying anything or got into any altercations or could have possibly effed him over in any way. And the way he said that just made me think he's really starting to understand what really happened. And he's like, it was just so unnecessary. I was such a novice to the game. I took our personal friendship I put a lot of respect into that. So it's like, if you had just been like honest with me in maybe a slightly different way, or just sort of duped me like a little bit, like you probably still could have gotten what you wanted and it wouldn't have been that nasty, but you made it so nasty. I thought we were friends. You made me look like an asshole on TV for your game.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't know. I only saw the one exit interview. I still love him. I love him, but I understand.
Personality wise, just not a good Big Brother player.
No, I mean, surprisingly, I think could be good, but he just doesn't want to act like that. And he didn't do his research. So
I think even if he just had a little bit more knowledge about the game, he would have been like he would have been like a Ross Matthews, but not Ross was a little bit more sneaky and kind of like conniving, but not in like a malicious way. And like it was like a, sorry, I duped you.
Trying to win.
Yeah, and then they didn't give it to him. Still salty about that. Anyway, that's pretty much it.
That's like what's another one like that?
Of someone who was like a good player but didn't like hurt feelings. I guess Andy never did anything so malicious.
I mean, he fucked over Alyssa.
But it wasn't like he wasn't
that believable either. That was a Todrick moment. He wasn't that believable.
He was like, Alyssa, you lied. And he was like, fuck, McCrae, don't do it.
McCrae was just like, everything was so rushed. He didn't have Amanda in there anymore, and he just fucking made the wrong choice. Because McCrae could have won.
Yeah, I mean, besides his slump in the middle where he wasn't winning anything or doing literally anything other than like arguing with Alyssa.
All he was doing was literally being on top of Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda actually played consistently like throughout. I don't know. I'm gonna call it there. We'll see tomorrow. Hopefully the HOH competition and the veto.
We'll get to see a little more because
we're almost done. We are so close. We are like 5 days, 4 days. We're a certain amount of days away.
It's like, that what was that show people watch? It's like winter is coming, the end is coming. I'm so excited.
So ready.
I kind of want Todrick in that last 2 chairs at this point, because like it's probably gonna happen regardless. Like I've accepted it. I know he's not gonna win, but I want him in those chairs, and I want every single jury member to rip him a new one, so he feels so dumb. Because when it's like every single person is like and he's like, well, because and they're like, next, and everybody else is like nice to whoever else, like they're stern on them, but they're like, that's so respectable, bye, like, and then the next person comes up, they're like, so Todrick, why are you the worst person on the planet? Like I want that moment, because that's like like, I want a moment, like, he obviously won't win, but like when June won.
Yeah.
And it was just like so fucked up. Like they're like, yay, confetti, you won. And she's like, and everyone's like, and it's just over. It's done.
They're like, congrats. And then like they did the interview where Julie's like, how did you feel about that response? And they're like, I don't care. I won, but like it was a little awkward.
Yeah, they're like,
Ready to go.
Yeah, like it, because it was basically like two Todricks, but like more strategic. Because like Allison won more stuff technically, but like the way, like I would have never guessed in the beginning that June could make herself last that long, being like that conniving, and then being willing to team up with someone like Allison for like
to get to the end.
Yeah, and then like
and screwing over Erica.
Yes. Hashtag Erica deserved better.
Season 4, season 7. No.
She deserved better. She had never been sleeping with Boogie, period. And that's on period.
And that's where we're gonna end it because
We're done. Like, comment, share, subscribe. See ya.